design permeates every particle of our everyday life. To tell us more about this, we're talking to Tulare Matlaba. Tulare is the Global Manager for INSCAPE Education Group.
Yes.
Tulare, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So Tulare, tell us about the INSCAPE Education Group. What does the company offer?
So INSCAPE Education Group is a tertiary education group. So we offer tertiary education. We offer a combination of honors programs, advanced diplomas, degrees, diplomas, higher certificates. We also have an online short course platform. So yeah, we're about education with a specific focus on design as well as communication-based education. Yeah.
Where are your campuses located?
So we've got campuses in Gauteng, we've got Midrand and Pretoria, in KZN Durban, and in the Western Cape, we've got Cape Town and Stellenbosch. Yeah.
Now, you said that INSCAPE focuses mainly on design and then communication. How does the institution set itself apart from other similar tertiary institutions?
So one of the key ways we set ourselves apart is our focus on our three core values, which is quality, authenticity, and relationships. And from a qualities perspective, we've ensured that we're accredited and registered with the appropriate bodies. From an authenticity perspective, is making sure that whatever we're teaching in the classroom, is one, relevant, and that we mean that it's up to date, right? It's the best information that we can provide, the best learning that we can provide. And then, when it comes to relationships, it's ensuring that, from lecturers to students to full-time staff, whoever's on our campuses is having a genuinely good experience, but also having a true experience of what learning should be. Yeah.
So when we think of design and communication, the first knee-jerk reaction is, okay, wait a second, design, how does that tie into agriculture?
Yeah.
So how does that work?
So, the interesting thing is when I knew I was coming to have this conversation with you, in my head, the first thing that popped in is our degree, a Bachelor of Design in Environmental Design. But as one thinks about it more deeply, with understanding that design is in everything, actually all of our qualifications have a place and a part to play in the agricultural sector. Companies in the sector would need graphic designers to help communicate their message in a visually pleasing way to consumers. Interior designers and environmental designers are needed to make sure that the spaces in which we work in are comfortable, right, and make sense. And if we think about where green building is and where the agricultural sector is looking at how to be more sustainable, environmental design studies in the spaces we live in form a part of that conversation. And then you look at things like ideation, which is a study of, it's a strategic study in how to take data and insights and again, communicate them to the public or your consumers or business partners in an easy to absorb, in an easy to dissect, manner. So all of our qualifications, we've got 8 Bachelor of Design specializations. We've got a Digital and Marketing Communication Bachelor of Arts. And, again, diplomas and higher certificates, but all of them, again, speak to design as the core fundamental and realizing that actually in any sector, all of those disciplines have an immense role to play.
Yeah, to me, it's always interesting to take a look at the old tractors and see how they evolved over time. We now have more flowing lines. And I think that's all to do with your designers' ideas and creating a new modern appearance. Now, one of the things that you spoke about is environmental design. How old is this course? What does it entail?
So we've been offering environmental design as a specialization since 2017. And essentially the course is based in the built environment faculty. So at a fundamental, the students learn about the basics of architecture and of architectural design. But one of the key components in the environmental design is a specific focus on sustainability and the use of products and materials that achieve the highest standards of green, right? So in the materials that are used to make them, how they work, and their longevity. So that host of qualities, are important. So we are registered with the Green Building South Africa, and we did that because then they can help inform us continuously and keep us up to date, right? And that's again speaking to that quality and authenticity by speaking to the partners in the industry who are dedicated to these specific fields like Green Building SA. We then can inform our qualification to make sure that it addresses the right measures and standards that will be expected of our graduates in industry.
Another term that you use that I found very interesting is ideation, and especially how it relates to the use of data. Now, we know that agriculture, currently technology in agriculture thrives on data. Ideation, will it find a place in agriculture in terms of working with that data?
Yeah, I mean, I come from a family of farmers from the Northwest, and again, when you look at things over time, you see how technology has permeated right into everything, and how data is becoming important, right? When a farmer wants to know precisely how many seeds have been laid in a specific row, right? All of that is data. You know, soil, forecast of weather, all of that is data, right? Consumers, who's buying from them, where's the stuff going around the world? So there's this mass amount of data that is being collected. But often the difficulty we find or that people experience is, how do I take that data and convert it into information that I can digest? So a degree like a Bachelor of Design in Ideation is where we teach our students to not only research and to look at the world, and I mean research is part of every and any qualification, but to really look at the data, the insights, the consumer behavior, the product, whatever it is, and to take that data and then through deep analysis, convert that into information that can be expressed graphically. So imagine taking all that data about how many consumers there are and putting it together in a pictograph of some sort, or in a chart, or in a series of, or in a video series. So that's really where ideation delves in. It's our students, our graduates coming into an organization, whatever the sector is, seeing where the information is, or forming the processes to collect that information. And once that data has been collected, converting it into visual information that anyone can easily digest, so that the conversation can, you know, go to the next level now, which is, okay, now that we have this data, now that it's information, what decisions can we make?
That sounds like an absolutely fascinating course.
Yeah.
You'll have to hold me back. I think I'm going to sign up next year.
Listen, if you want to sign up, come in. What's always been fun at INSCAPE is, you know, again, the relationship part is, we have students as young as 18, we have students as old as 35. And again, it's because of the uniqueness of the offering. I think you can find general degrees anywhere, but I think what sets us apart is the methodology in our delivery. Yeah.
Tell us about the partnerships that INSCAPE Education Group go into.
So as I've mentioned, I mean, we've got GBSA, we've had work done with companies like Standard Bank, we've worked with Belgatex. So we're always looking for partners in industry to work with us. One of the spaces that we thrive the most in partnerships is actually in our in-service training. So our third years, whether diploma or degree, are required to go do in-service training. And let me be correct, including higher certificates, right? So any of our accredited courses, the students are required to go do a certain number of hours of industry training. And what we found is that our hosts keep coming back and welcoming our students into their organizations. So that partnership, you know, it's not a formal contract that's signed. It's host, please, you know, hold these students for 6 weeks, let them participate in the company, and the feedback we get is always positive in the majority. And we find that hosts keep calling us to say, when is that in-service training coming? So you've got your formal partnerships, as I mentioned, your GBSAs, your Belgatex, you know, what we've done with the banking sector, and we're constantly mining for more. And then you've got the more informal partnerships through in-service training, where these hosts have a positive experience with our students and they keep coming back to ask for them. And we actually find that has been one of our keys to success, is that when our students go for this in-service training, a lot of them actually find their first job or their entry into market from this 6-week internship. Yeah.
So obviously you guys must be doing something right then.
Yeah.
Tell us about the impact of the COVID pandemic. I know that it has impacted, well, pretty much everywhere. How has it impacted INSCAPE, especially if we look at things like online learning, virtual learning?
So, you know, at INSCAPE, we've got a good story to tell. We've seen remarkable success through this period. And it's always one of those tough ones, right? Because we hear of other institutions where there's been struggles. Now, by virtue of our size, but also of the way in which we manage the teaching and learning experience, our students right from year one are introduced to technology. So, you know, you have to have a laptop to study at INSCAPE. You know, the students get software, so they live out part of their educational experience online already. So really for us, the biggest challenge was just the access to data more than anything else. And we supported our students through our telecoms partner. We supported our students. We got them to the place where they could regularly attend class online. And the weird things that have come out of that, or the excitement that has come out of that, is a simple thing. I'll give you 3 stats, right? Concerning attendance to class, we've had an improvement in attendance by roughly 4%, which might not sound like a lot, but it's the difference between 84 to 90% attendance. We've had a better rate of submission of projects. And that has actually tied to the fact that the students aren't distracted, right? Especially in the earlier parts of lockdown. A simple story to tell is a student who remarked that because they were at home, their parent knew when their classes were. So at 7 o'clock, if he wasn't in front of his laptop, the mom was asking, why are you not at class? So now the parents are over their shoulder, so they worked more. And again, the student just simply said, I wasn't distracted. I couldn't go to the mall. I couldn't do this. So actually, to some extent, the lockdown period actually worked quite well for some of our students. There were definitely difficulties. And to that, we went to the nth degree to make sure that social services were available to our students. So if a student was having a hard time mentally, mental health, they could easily contact their campus, and the campus directors would go to any means to make sure that they had access to someone to talk to and begin that journey. And I think, within the country, there's plenty of social services that are available, and all we would do is network the student with the appropriate social service that they need. But as a whole, for our students, COVID, the pandemic, lockdown, has not negatively affected them. We have actually seen, as I said, an improvement in certain regards, to the point where right now, I think like institutions that have seen success are probably worried, because they're worried if any of these students will actually want to come back. Because the biggest thing you hear is, I can have coffee while I'm doing my studies.
Exactly. Tell me, Tulari, students who are interested in joining your tertiary educational institution, where do they go? Who do they talk to?
Yeah, so they can find us online. Our website, www.inscape.ac. We're really pushing our social media. So whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, it's simply We Are INSCAPE. And then when they're on our website, they can always inquire. There's a live inquiry form. We've got a virtual open day page where they can go in and they can see student work. They can read more about each program and see the course details and the requirements. Very soon we'll be launching our scholarship program. And by launching, I mean that it'll be the time of year when students can apply, but all those details will be live on the website. So, by first week, second week, October, the announcement will have been made. And we do that program again to encourage access to education. So yeah, that's really where they can find us. They can visit any of our campuses. Our campuses are open. Obviously, when they arrive at the campus, we'll expect them to follow, COVID regulations in terms of health and safety. But they're welcome to visit. They're welcome to call in. Everything's on the website. Everything they need to contact us. If they do it on social, we'll respond. We're pretty good. We rank quite well. So we're always available. They can reach us. If they want to find us, we are there. We are advertising anywhere you can think of. So yeah, we're there. We're available.
Tulari, thank you very much. This was a very, very interesting conversation. I learned much more about design than I ever thought possible. So thank you very much for your time.
Our pleasure. Our mission is to make sure that the population, the country, the world begins to appreciate the role that design has played in their lives, and that it is literally in everything, from the shoes you wear to the car you drive to the comb you use. Design is everywhere, and whatever degree you study at any of our campuses, you will be equipped to find your place in design. Fantastic, yeah.
And there you have it. I'm very sure that I have learned an incredible amount, and I really hope that you have too. So if you're interested, get in touch with the INSCAPE Education Group. Give them a call, make that call, say hello, and come and join up. We'll be back right after this. See you soon.